to increase. We're so glad to have you here tonight to welcome you to our Rising 8th grade event. Special hello to any of our Cooper students that have joined us this evening to learn more. We're so happy you're here. I'm Lisa Barrow. I'm the proud principal at Cooper. Hard to believe we're halfway through the year. I'm surrounded by my amazing admin team. We're going to start with introductions of our group. Mrs. Scabas.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Dana Scabas, and I'm the Director of Student Services here at Cooper, and we're just very excited to welcome you back because you're already a member of our Cooper family. And I'm going to pass it off to one of our administrators, Mr. Rath.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Rath. Next year, I will be the 7th grade administrator. Thank you all for joining, and I'll hand it off to Ms. McLaughlin.
Evening, everyone. I'm Maureen McLaughlin. I am your child's assistant principal, and I will continue to be next school year.
Additionally, our 8th grade counselors are here, Mr. Chambers and Miss Donnelly. I think a few of our 7th grade counselors may be popping in tonight, Miss Wiley and Miss St. Germain. I want to also point out our school psychologist and social worker, Mr. Brooks and Miss Shang, are available to you, and our registrar is Miss Eisman. Additionally, we have a few other friends from Cooper with us tonight. Miss Dorman was unable to join us, but she is our school-based technology specialist. Miss Durr is our instructional coach, and Mrs. Walsh is our math department chair. And with a really large group tonight, we have a better chance at clear audio if we turn off our cameras. So, and additionally, due to this large participation size, BBCU isn't going to allow the microphones, cameras, or chat feature. The session is being recorded, as I mentioned earlier, and will be available on our Cooper website. In the event that we have some sound issues, and that does happen here and there, if we have any issues, we will ensure that we get a clear recording posted on our website. Here's our agenda for this evening. You've already met our team. We want you to reconnect with Cooper's mission, vision, and values. We know that we want to share more about Cooper, including our after-school activities, our curriculum, and how you're going to make your course selection for 8th grade. As you know, we did collect your responses prior to tonight, and we've embedded those themes in our presentation. The school counseling team is happy to continue to answer your questions should we not answer them tonight. And lastly, we're going to provide you with some resources at the end for managing your course selections. As you've been part of the Cooper community this past year, our mission hasn't changed despite a pandemic. You know, we want all of our students to grow, think critically, and develop portrait of a graduate skills regardless of whether we've been virtual or in person. Cooper has always been student focused, and that was amplified this year through our innovative instructional practices. All of us, our students, our families and staff, we've certainly deepened our resilience and have demonstrated continued grace and flexibility during times of uncertainty. We've strived to communicate regularly with you, and we've provided structure and consistency so our students know that school is predictable. Our teachers and staff have spent considerable time developing relationships with students so that they take risks in our virtual classrooms and feel that they are seen, valued, and heard at Cooper. Developing relationships with students is one of our main priorities. We also value the partnership that we create with our families. And together we create that caring culture. Our staff is committed to collaborating with each other as we continuously address the academic, behavioral, and social emotional needs of our students. We hope that you felt that this year and that it's been very clear to you. Our classrooms, while virtual at this time, provide engaging and rigorous lessons in support of portrait of a graduate skills. In this year, our students can be seen regularly in breakout groups, communicating and collaborating with one another around class content and leveraging technology to enhance their learning. As you know, As you know, we want our students to achieve high academic standards in a highly engaged learning environment. We want our students to develop timeless character qualities, and we're seeing this firsthand as our students communicate with us and one another to lift each other up through their actions in class and the service they're giving to our community. Our students are learning responsibility, and while they took ownership over their learning previously, they've continued to develop their self-advocacy skills and independence in a virtual environment. We know that a growth mindset supports success in life, so we focus on perseverance and persistence. And lastly, we know that middle school is a time for social and emotional growth, and we work with our students as they develop more independence and individuality. We look forward to continuing this journey with you, and if you're new to Cooper, we welcome you. Mr. Rath is going to take over and share some general information about Cooper, starting with our code of conduct.
Thank you, Ms. Barrow. We are so proud of the culture we've created at Cooper Middle School. What you see up here is a visual, and this was actually part of a lesson that all your students engaged in virtually this year. We talk about these student skills: resiliency, being on time, being prepared, demonstrating respect and integrity. Something that's going to be embedded throughout all of our lessons in your students' 8th grade experience. What you've probably already noticed is some of the differences from elementary school, and we're actually going to take one more step in that direction as your student enters in 8th grade. Parents, we appreciate the fact that you continue to encourage self-advocacy. It's okay if your child struggles a little bit. We're there to support. We want to encourage them to take some positive risks. As you've experienced this year, and maybe even a little bit more than normally given virtual, as there's a lot of communication going on with a variety of different teachers. And one thing that we encourage you to continue checking is SIS. We know that you can request those weekly grade reports. And for the students out there, when you enter 8th grade, you're going to have even more course options available to you now that you've completed some prerequisites. We appreciate how often you're checking Schoology, your emails, and SIS, really learning some great lessons to carry you forward. We're very hopeful that the after-school activities is going to be rocking and rolling next year. Ms. McLaughlin is going to talk a little bit more about some of those offerings. And as you've experienced already, we do start a little bit early. We're 7:30 to 2:15 again next year. Last but not least, laptops and technologies. Everybody's had one this year, and we're going to continue the one-to-one initiative. Cooper is connected. Even before the pandemic and our virtual world, we've always prided ourselves in the fact that we've included a lot of instructional technology. We want to provide that equitable learning access not only in school but outside of school. What we're trying to accomplish is for our students to develop some digital citizenship skills. We're going to continue to be a Schoology team next year, and now that we've gotten comfortable with it this year, we know it's going to be even easier for our students to get acclimated. Two names to know is Ms. Dorman. She's our school-based technology specialist. She helps with a lot of the software aspects. And Mr. Davidanza, he's our T-Spec, our technology support specialist. He helps with a lot of the hardware. He's the one who's been helpful to get all the laptops out to students, and if anybody has any issues, the one to contact to get anything replaced. What you see up here is a variety of the different platforms that we use. By now, a lot of these will look familiar to your students. Schoology being our main learning management system. Some of the apps that are included are Pear Deck, Flipgrid, WeVideo, Newsela, Vocabulary, and that's just to name a few. We want to give our students the access to the best instructional technology that we've seen out there. Please make sure next year as we move into it that we complete our digital consent forms as well. That's going to be renewed every year. That being said, I will hand it off to your grade level administrator, Ms. McLaughlin.
Thanks, Mr. Rath. I appreciate that. Hopefully this slide here will show you some of the ways that we connect and support with our students here at Cooper. As you know, I'm your child's assistant principal, and I loop with the students, so I will continue to be their assistant principal next school year. As 8th graders, just as they have this year, in 7th grade, they will have a designated counselor who will be assigned to them. Additionally, we have small group advisory time. So this year, you understand that as Block 4. In the past, it was called QST, which stood for Quiet Structured Time for students, Quality Structured Time as well. We will absolutely, the middle school model is to make sure that students have that opportunity in a much larger setting to connect and have opportunities to work on academics as well as social emotional skills. They have a designated teacher planning time. One of the things that I feel is just really sets Cooper apart is the curriculum teams that have been established. We have part of our master schedule that Mrs. Skavis designs allows for teachers to have common planning time who teach the same content. So we're able to offer a guaranteed and viable curriculum to every single member of our student body, regardless of whether they are AAP students, honor students, general education, or special education. We know that teachers have time to plan lessons that not only meet programs of studies objectives, but also portrait of a graduate skills. We also offer after-school opportunities, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. In the past, we have our design of our school has included interdisciplinary teams, as well as the small group advisory this year that we've had for students by last name. Going back to the curriculum teams, of which we are just so proud, these individuals, these professionals come together each week to really think about how to design instruction to meet the needs of the middle school student in each of their disciplines. We are a school committed to project-based learning, PBLs, you may have heard your students discuss. We frame the content around authentic applications. It's inquiry-based. It offers choice and voice from students, and it emphasizes reflection and revision. We know these are best practices, and they're in active use in our school. So one of the things that we really do encourage students, especially as this year and next year as well as 8th graders, given the pandemic and what's happened with virtual learning, we can't stress enough how important it is for students to have an opportunity to engage in and participate in an after-school activity that is an area of interest for them. This slide here will show you that we offer a variety, this current year, a variety of activities for students, whether it's academic, student support, performing arts, or athletics. Mr. Frangel is our after-school specialist. And we really do encourage students to participate. It's an amazing way for them to not only try something new and something that might interest them, but a wonderful way to connect with other students that they might not have met yet. And Ms. Skavis, I think I'm turning this back to you.
Thanks, Ms. McLaughlin. I just wanted to share some curriculum information with everyone. So the same as this year, you will have some choices in your core curriculum and in your elective curriculum. So for the core curriculum, our core consists of English, social studies, science, math, and health and PE. Just as this year, English, social studies, and science, if you are in the AAP program, you must take all 3 of those. So if you're eligible level 4, you would be in all 3 of those AAP. Math is a decision that you make based on readiness, and then everyone takes 1 health and PE. For electives, you have options to take year-long electives and semester electives. So when you go to the Google form to request your courses for next year, the electives will give you these 3 options. So you can choose to take 2 full-year electives. Your second option would be to choose 1 full-year elective and 2 semester electives. And then your third option would be to take 4 semester electives and no full-year electives. So hopefully today your students came home eager to talk about the process. They had a lesson today in Block 4. But on our Cooper website, we'll put the link in the chat. It's been sent home an email as well. but you will see a link to a course selection sheet. This used to be a piece of paper that we actually collected. A little bit different this year. We will not be collecting any paper, but we still love to have it so you guys can look at it online or print it out and really talk it over as a family and make your selections in each of the categories before your child then goes to the Google form and actually fills in their selections. So let me paste the link to the academic advising webpage on the chat. It'll look just like this. You want to scroll down to the section that says 8th grade, and there'll be lots of things for you to review, including the 8th grade core and elective tour. Those are videos from our current teachers about each of the subjects that we offer. Once you've made your decisions, use the sheet to guide you. Your child must log into their Google account and fill out the Google form. We will not be having students input their selections in SIS this year. We're going to have a staff member do that. So everything needs to be done in the Google form, and it's really easy to follow. Each subject requires you to have an answer. So we'll know that your child will have a full set of requests. So now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Durr, and she is going to moderate our question and answer session. So these are all questions that were submitted by you all in the RSVP.
Thanks, Ms. Gabus. So our first set of questions was around details regarding the renovation and how this will affect students being in the building.
Yeah, it's been a popular topic recently. Thank you, Ms. Durr. It's well underway. Design and construction has been fantastic to work with. They keep instructional programming at the forefront of their work and truly work alongside of us. At this point, fencing has been installed to keep construction personnel out of school areas that we have. Anything major is going to be completed after the school day or on weekends. Currently, they are finishing up a new temporary library. In the process of moving the main library over there. As of today, they were installing carpet and finishing up the painting. We're going to do some moving on that aspect. But everything is going to be separated, very clear, and that moving forward. One big thing that we're going to take a look at is locker use for next year. There is not going to be locker use this year, particularly, and probably moving into next year. Students will be carrying supplies to their classes in a book bag.
Thanks, Mr. Rath. Our next question was about recommendations. Will teachers be given a recommendation from their current teachers?
Good evening, families. This is Mr. Chambers, one of the 8th grade counselors at Cooper. Will students be given a recommendation from current teachers? Ms. Gabus, our Director of Student Services here tonight, has emailed all rising 8th grade mothers, fathers, and legal guardians a math advisement. Please reach out to your child's teachers for additional course advisement if needed.
Thanks, Mr. Chambers. Which courses are high school level credits?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jill Donnelly. I am a current 8th grade counselor at Cooper. Currently, our high school level credits are algebra, algebra honors, geometry honors, algebra 2 honors, and then any of our level 1 or above and level 1B or above world language courses.
Thanks, Mrs. Donnelly. Thinking about world languages, what language classes are offered to 8th grade students at Cooper? And would a student be guaranteed to get their selected language in 8th grade?
This is Mike Rath again. I do work with the world language teams. And while we cannot guarantee any elective courses, languages are very common courses with multiple sections each year. We do strive to create a student-centered master schedule and run elective courses depending on student selection and our staffing models. What you see here is a bit of a flow chart. And students in 7th grade have the opportunity to complete either Spanish Part A or French Part A. I'll talk about Japanese immersion in just a second. And from there, in 8th grade, your student can then take Spanish Part B or French Part B. There are some other opportunities if your student did not take a language in 7th grade, or if they want to change languages moving into 8th grade. They can take Spanish 1, French 1, Chinese 1, and German 1. And the differences between A and B combined versus 1 is just a little bit more exposure. They get about a year and a half to learn the first year of Spanish and French versus the full year. So it does move a little bit quicker in the 1 program and just a little bit less exposure. Moving into 9th grade, after successful completion of either a level 1 or a level B, your student would then take the 2nd level in 9th grade. Japanese immersion is a tad bit different. Those are only open to current Japanese immersion students.
Thanks, Mr. Rath. Our next question is about band and orchestra and the audition process and when they will be held.
Thanks, Mr. Will band and orchestra have auditions? Band and orchestra will have auditions for period placements in early spring. Additional information will go out after all course requests are submitted.
Our next question also is about prerequisites. So what are the criteria when placing students within their elective choices?
Thanks, Mr. Most of our elective choices do not have prerequisites, but some of them do. So in order to be placed into an elective, the prerequisite requirement must be met. And then we do strive to create a student-centered master. So courses are scheduled that fit into the student's schedule based on interest, space, and staffing.
Thanks, Ms. Gabus. Jumping back to world language, when will information be provided about the world language credit exam?
Students may register to take the world language credit exam by emailing their counselor, either 7th or 8th grade. We've been receiving some requests already. Registration opened Monday, February 8th and closes on Tuesday, February 26th at 4 p.m. And additional information regarding the world language credit exam can be found in this website. Mr., if you wouldn't mind putting that website in the chat, that would be great. It has all the information you need, and once students are registered, they will also get a verification that they are registered and set to go.
Thanks, Ms. Donnelly. We got a few questions about what students can do to prepare as they move from 7th grade to 8th grade, specifically over the summer.
Right. Thanks, Mr. We get this question, a lot about how students can prepare best for Cooper. Reading for 20 to 30 minutes per day to build stamina is a fantastic way to be prepared, especially for English class. Reinforcing organizational skills within your family through keeping a consistent schedule, having a designated workspace. I'm going to add chores maybe, setting up and using a calendar, building self-advocacy skills within your household, review previously learned skills from classes, and then find time to relax as well. It's also your summer. It's that work-life balance. Come back ready and in charge.
Thanks, Mr. Chambers. Along the lines of opportunities available in the summer, there were questions around what students might be able to participate in, and one example was if a student would be able to take geometry over the summer.
Hi, this is Lisa Walsh, and I'm the math department chair. Just a few things I wanted to mention about this. If your child is not enrolled in algebra this year as a 7th grader, they do not have an opportunity to take a new math class over the summer, because the county doesn't allow for your first high school math class algebra to be taken that way. So that is not an option. However, if your child is enrolled in algebra as a 7th grader, technically there is an opportunity to take geometry honors over the summer, and then as an 8th grader, they would be enrolled in Algebra 2 honors. And I just want to take a moment to talk to you about that choice. So I teach Algebra 1 honors, Geometry honors, and Algebra 2 honors. So I think I have a good perspective on these classes. Geometry is a very packed curriculum and very difficult to take in a short period of time over the summer. So it's a 6-week-long class. The kids I've spoken to who have taken it said they spend a good 8 to 9 hours a day during those 6 weeks really just doing geometry, and it's packed in. So that's something you want to think about, whether or not that's how your child wants to spend 6 weeks of their summer, and it's challenging. Then in 8th grade, they're in an Algebra 2 honors class, which is also an extremely challenging course. And just if you want to look down the road, then they would be taking calculus in 10th grade. So I just, in general, want, before you make a decision like that, you're really going to want to think about your child, and is math just what they love so much that they're happy to do 6 weeks of math over the summer? And have they had the other thing I tell the kids, have they had such an easy time in Algebra 1 that it's honors, that it's just been not a big deal? I mean, otherwise, I think it's a challenging road to take, but it is an option. I would really encourage you, if your child who's in algebra is considering doing that, for them to have a discussion with their teacher, or I'm also happy to have any discussions about it.
Thank you, Mrs. Walsh. What classes can we take as part of the AAP program?
Thanks, Mister. This is a great question. As veteran middle school parents, you know that students who have been centrally designated as advanced academic placement students are automatically enrolled in English, history, and science classes, and that would continue in 8th grade. AAP students must take all 3 core classes, and as you understand, most likely by now, math is not part of that process. If your child is currently an AAP student and you are considering changing that, please let Annie Eisman know in order for her to be removed. But it's an all-in or all-out situation. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. McLaughlin. Along those lines, what's the difference between an honors class and an AAP class?
This is an excellent question, and it comes up quite a bit. And so this is such a great graphic that the division put together to help parents understand when they're making those decisions with their students about which courses to take, especially when students are considering the general education classes versus an honors class. And really, it comes down to interest. We know that AAP classes are available to students who have been centrally identified, but the honors classes are choice. Parents can choose, students can choose to take it, and we really do encourage them to choose it because it interests them. They have a proclivity to want to spend time in that subject area, and students are able to enroll in one or more of those classes if we know they have demonstrated strength and an ability to do it. We encourage it, but it really does come down to a student's willingness to enjoy it and have it be a great experience for them. I just want to reiterate, because you may have figured out it's such a source of pride for us as a school that our curriculum teams work so hard to make sure every single student who comes to Cooper has access across the board to great instruction. So thanks, Mister.
Thank you. We also had some questions thinking about next year. So will virtual learning be an option for the 2021-2022 school year?
So we all wish we could predict the next school year, but at this time we do not know the status of options for virtual learning for next school year, 2021 to 2022. But please continue to monitor FCPS communication for updates.
Thanks, Ms. Donnelly. We got a handful of questions about the requirements for service learning and any recommendations for completing hours at home. So service learning in Fairfax County is an expectation. It is not a requirement. Middle schoolers are expected to engage in 15 hours of service learning during their time in middle school. So for that summer leading into 7th grade all the way through 8th grade. And we have set up a Schoology service learning group this year. Students can self-enroll, and the code is listed at the bottom of the screen. We provide updates about service learning opportunities. The PTO has been really involved in providing community opportunities for us as well. We've really tried to articulate with the elementary schools and Langley in the pyramid for students to get involved. And our service learning group also includes directions for accessing all the programs that students might need to access to log their service learning. So our next question is, will parents have any approval component over the requested courses in the course request process?
Thanks, Mr. So once all the requests have been added to SIS by our Cooper staff, you will receive an email to log on to ParentView and review your child's requests. So if something doesn't look right or there's been a change, you will have until June 1st to inform the school of any changes.
Will there be a Cooper Prep offered this year?
This is another great question. We are currently awaiting county guidance on any summer programmings. This past year it was virtually. If we have the opportunity to return, we will explore some options, possibly utilizing a different location because our school is under renovation during the summers, but more information will be communicated as we continue to await guidance.
Thanks, Mr. Rath. And our last question for this evening is, will you please tell us more about the new TJ admissions process?
Thanks, Mr. I'm actually the TJ liaison this year, so if you have additional questions after I go over some of the new components for this year for TJ, you can absolutely email me, and I'll put my email in the chat in a moment. So 8th graders can apply between now and February 26th at 4 p.m. If you're on the fence about applying, please apply, I would say no later than February 25th because we have to verify their math, and that can take up to 24 hours. The application components, 8th graders must be enrolled in honors algebra or beyond, honors science, and one other honors course. And there are some caveats in the TJ admissions website that you can also look at regarding those courses. Students must achieve a core grade point average of a 3.5, and that's based on final grades from their 7th grade year and first quarter 8th grade grades. Students will also complete a student portrait sheet and problem-solving essay, which is administered in the spring and not part of that initial application. The initial application is just entering their information and having their math verified. And you can visit the TJ admissions website for more information. They've done a really amazing job of outlining, all sorts of things, and they also have contact information. If there's any questions that I can't answer, I can direct you to them as well.
Thanks, Ms. Donnelly. I am now going to pass it off to Ms. Davis, and she is going to review the resources that are available.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to review. I'm going to put this website in the chat again. I just wanted to review when you're on it, make sure you scroll down to the 8th grade portion that says Rising 8th grade. And these will be the things that are available. Please review the core and elective curriculum tour. I've been getting many compliments on how helpful it has been for students to select what they wanted to request for electives. Counselors have did a Block 4 lesson today through the Block 4 teachers. We have this Welcome Back to Cooper night, and this video will be posted on this website. We have already opened the Google form for 8th graders to begin requesting courses. So once you've talked it over as a family, please go on this website, click on the Google form, and have your child must be logged into their Google account to submit that. Those are due February 16th at 8 p.m. And then counselors will be visiting with each student via Block 4 or their office hours, or they're going to pop into some other classes throughout the next few weeks to talk with your student one-on-one about their course requests. So I think Ms. Barrow wanted to close us out tonight.
I do. Thanks, Ms. Gabus, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We hope that you value the information that was shared, and we hope you know that we're here to support you in making those decisions. Please reach out with your questions. We want to help your student make the best choice for them as we work to open the building back up and welcome your students back for 8th grade. Just as a reminder, we're going to get this recording posted on our web page for you. In addition, check out the academic advising that Mrs. Scabis mentioned. It may help you make a decision if you're in between right now. And we hope to see you very soon around the corner. Reminder, we have a town hall coming up for return to school. So we hope we'll see you there to share more information about getting back into school at Cooper. Have a great night and thanks for joining us.